Welcome to the Binge Report. That's Justin Olafino.
That's Kyle Mocha.
And that is Mr. Zachary
Ray Liotta.
Storman. Welcome, everybody, to the Binge Report. Hope we woke you up with that one.
What's up, Joey?
We're going to be talking about a lot of things that wake you up tonight. But first and foremost, thank you to everybody that is here in the chat for joining us live.
Grazie.
Thank you to everybody in the future that is watching this later on. We are here live on Binge Report every second Wednesday, every other Wednesday, however you want to look at it. Unless there's like a snowstorm or something like that.
Yeah.
Snow's over.
Snow's over. We're done with snow.
I'm done with the snow.
You are. But yeah, thanks to everybody that is here. If you have not yet already, please go and hit that subscribe button at the channel.
Click that bell.
Click that bell, guys. Get notified
Ring-a-ding-ding-ding
every time there is a new video. We go live, anything along those lines.
Yep.
Big ups to everybody in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, guys, tonight we are talking about the hit film Cocaine Bear. It had people lined up to see it, and I've been sitting on that joke all afternoon. Thank you.
I've been sitting on my nuts all afternoon.
Oh, this is going to be a weird one. You know, we've been trying to play this show a little bit more professional than past shows we have done. And we have been avoiding, you know, using certain words, doing certain things live on air. But tonight it is going to be unavoidable.
Yeah, I mean just as in the title.
The title of the movie that we are doing is Cocaine Bear. I think just on the title we are demonetized.
Yeah.
There's no way in HE double hockey sticks that we are going to make a dime off of this episode. Not that we ever made a dime off of anything before. We do this for free for the love of the game, guys.
For the love of Mr. Rampage.
Yes.
Yeah, for Mr. Rampage. Big ups to Mr. R. Thank you for having us back here on the channel once again, guys.
Very much so, thank you.
If you've not been here before, again, that's Zach, that's Justin, I'm Kyle. We've done a couple of episodes so far. We've covered movies including X and Pearl.
Yep.
We've done Barbarian. And last episode we covered the anime classic Akira.
Yep.
So since we went back in time to 1988 on the last one, we wanted to do something that was as new and as current as we could.
Right.
And there was really no other option. I know I technically made the decision that we were going to do this one live on air. We had discussed it.
Needed.
It was needed. It is necessary.
Yeah.
This is a movie
We needed to do some Cocaine Bear.
Yes. And we are going to spend tonight doing Cocaine Bear and talking about Cocaine Bear as
By the way,
much as we can. Have we been kicked off
this
yet?
way. No, this way. Right here, this side. Cocaine Bear.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The image that you got there is terrifying. It's one of the best shots in the movie. We'll get to the movie in a little bit. I wanted
Mr. Rampage.
Oh, what's up, Mr. R? Welcome, everybody. We're gonna be talking about Cocaine Bear in a little bit, and I think I'm not going to say it any other way than that.
Somebody wrote Monster Energy Baby?
Yeah, all right. That's, you know what? Someone said that. I'm just going to jump right into one thing that I'm really hoping that Cocaine Bear starts a series of movies. I hope in the next one they go to Australia.
Raccoon?
I want them to go to Australia. Cocaine Koala.
Oh, koala?
Cocaine Koala.
Like just a
kangaroo?
herd of cocaine koalas and a kangaroo.
A kangaroo.
Oh my! You would not want to
what if
mess with that.
Japan has a new
how high he would jump?
Godzilla's in trouble, dude.
Yeah.
Cocaine koala versus cocaine kangaroo.
And they're going to team up and make one giant mecha creature.
Meth Gator is coming soon.
Meth Gator. Oh my god.
Meth Gator. That's what we really.
I think that's just a documentary about Florida. I think that's basically what that is. But what I wanted to talk about first, before we jump into Cocaine Bear. We are a few days removed from the biggest night in Hollywood and the most unwatched show in the world, the Academy Awards,
the Streamer Awards,
the Oscars.
Right.
Yeah, the
Streamer
I am
Awards.
sure if you can you look it up what the amount of people that watch the streamer, like the webbies, the streamies, whatever the show is.
The Video Game
The
Awards.
Video Game Awards. I'm sure more people watch the Adult Film Awards. 580,000 concurrent viewers.
Yes.
508. I'm sure that is more than the Oscars.
Including the people that were there.
Yeah, including the people that were there. So either way, the Oscars were this past Sunday night. hosted by the sometimes funny Jimmy Kimmel. He did have a
Jimmy Kimmel has been funny in 20 years.
yeah, that's what
I'm just
sometimes.
putting it out there, yeah.
Sometimes is.
And
2
when you look
decades
back
ago.
to when Jimmy Kimmel was funny,
Very
now
funny.
it's but now you're like,
He's been castrated.
yeah, but no,
Pretty much.
no. Even back then, like it was funny then,
Yeah.
but through a modern lens.
Oh no, it wasn't funny. It wasn't.
You guys remember when Jimmy Kimmel did blackface?
Yeah, he
No,
did
no one remembers.
No one wants to remember that.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Pepperidge Farm does remember, and
Cocaine Shark trailer is also out.
nice. We were gifted to a couple
that
good
guy.
jabs. Yeah, me too. A couple good jabs that he had at the expense of Will Smith, because obviously last year the Oscars was the hit heard around the world.
It doesn't feel like a year.
It's
ago.
been a year. It's
wild.
crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
And especially because Chris Rock literally waited till the week of the Oscars
Yeah.
to do
actually
his
special,
new
yeah.
special and
Yeah.
put it out, like perfectly planned there. But
I heard he said a lot of nasty shit about Will
yeah,
Smith.
he
too.
said a lot of nasty stuff for sure. But I've yet to watch that in full. I'm going to at some point. That's one on my binge list. The new Chris Rock special. But Jimmy Kimmel had a couple of good jabs. My favorite line that he said during the opening monologue was that if anybody at any point decides to be violent and to act on it and commit an act of violence on stage, that that person would immediately be awarded the Best Actor Academy Award and given 19 minutes to do a speech. Which was just brilliant. But what I did want to point out is just how how cool it was for who won this year. The awards are always about a story, you know? The people that are voting on the Academy Awards, most of them aren't, I mean, all of them are involved in the industry to some degree. They're a part of the Academy because they're a writer, a director, a producer, a key grip, an actor, something along those lines, and they get a chance to vote. But that doesn't mean they necessarily
Best Boys
have to watch if you're a part of the Academy. Like, it's a separate thing.
It's like a union, right?
Yeah, it's not really a union.
Hey,
but
I'm in the union!
Yeah. You get to join it. If you win an Academy Award, you're in it, and I forget how you can, like, petition to become a member. Someone can correct me on that.
Can we become members?
Sure. We've made a movie, so, yeah. Let's do it. So, this year was really cool for the winners. Obviously, the stories are out. Everybody kind of knows. Brendan Fraser got the or Fraser. I keep saying Fraser.
Yeah, he's like, I did see a thing where he's like, everybody says my name wrong.
Yeah. Because
It's not like
Fraser goes
Frasier?
like Fraser is his name, but everyone
Grammar.
says Fraser. Yeah, Grammar Fraser.
It's like if he was like, no, my name's Chelsea Grammer.
Chelsea Grammar.
Chelsea Grammer.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
But he won for The Whale, which was kind of a hot topic for
Still
a little
need
bit
to
of this
watch
year.
it.
I still have not seen it.
Is it just a sappy movie?
I've not.
It's,
It's
from what I
Darren
understand-
Aronofsky, so he makes brilliantly demented movies.
Yeah, from what I understand, it's it's a somber movie the whole time. It's about basically a man who gave up and is trying to do right by himself and somebody else to feel important before he goes out.
Before he
type of
goes
thing,
out, yeah.
You know?
But he's playing a 600-pound man, and there was a lot of controversy, as there is in Hollywood about
Yeah, I
anything.
saw a lot of fat shaming thing. Like,
Yeah,
why
well,
would
people
you have
why
a
would
thing?
you cast him? It's called acting. And we have makeup people for a reason.
Right.
I don't find any
Doesn't have to
issue
be
with
just
it.
for horror.
No. And I think that as I mean, I'm not a 600-pound man, but as bigger guys here, do any of us have?
Also, being fat is not a race.
Yeah, no.
Like if they cast a white person in a role that should be a traditional Chinese role, that makes
we'll
sense.
just make up a name.
Upset,
Emma Stone. If that happens,
Tom Cruise?
Yes, Tom Cruise.
Matt Damon.
Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, all these people that are definitely Asian, right? So in this movie, it's like, okay, he's wearing a fat suit.
Fat is not a race.
No, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work to get here.
Yeah. So as proud, plump people, there's the alliteration I was going for. Do you have any issue? Do you have any issue with somebody wearing a fat suit?
No. I don't think I've ever had an issue. Like, why would
the only fat suit I have an issue with is the one I'm wearing.
Yeah, and I put it on. Not yours. I put mine on.
It took me years to put this fat suit on.
You guys swap every
I got to
week?
assume that we're all ripped underneath, because if you walked around with an extra 150 to 200 pounds of weights on you all the time for like 30-something years, and then took them off, you probably chiseled underneath there, right? Oh,
Triple P, dude. P square. P
Proud
cubed.
plump people. Nice. Yeah. Broken Toe Joe in the chat. What's up, my brother?
Funny, Joe. Very funny.
That's our first shirt for the show. Proud plump people.
Yeah. Triple P.
You're down with PPP.
Yeah, you know me.
Yeah, pass some spaghetti.
Pass the spaghetti, boy. Pass the Pop-Tart, Papa. But in addition to Brendan Fraser winning the award for Best Actor, Michelle Yeoh won for Best Actress for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Another movie that none of us have seen yet. We might be covering it in the near future.
I mean,
we might not be.
A24.
And it's a big night. That's where I was going to go to, because I know, Justin, you are like you are the big guy on A24. You were who introduced me to that studio. Yeah. They started. We looked it up. They started in like 2012. It was a movie with Charlie Sheen, and it was made by Roman Coppola.
I had never even heard of it.
We'd never heard of it, but in the last 5 years, they've been just like kicking butt. They've just been putting out amazing content, one movie after another. And this year,
bada bing, bada boom.
You had Brendan Fraser for The Whale. You had Michelle Yeoh and Ke Huy Quan. I think I'm saying that right. Short Round, or Data to the layman, for also Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Jamie Lee Curtis for Everything Everywhere All at Once. And then Everything Everywhere All at Once won the Best Director and Best Picture, making them the first studio in almost 100 years to win all of those. Which means Titanic didn't win all of those awards. That means Gone with the Wind, Mary Poppins, the movies that have had like the top Wizard of Oz, like none of them hit that mark. So it's crazy that it ever took this long.
Mary Poppins don't have hot dogs.
But it's more it's more impressive to me that it was done with two different movies.
Yes.
Like they had two movies that were two of the biggest like stories of the year, biggest successes.
I mean, and that's just two of their movies. Mm-hmm. For a studio, when I introduced or talked about them, it's just a studio that allows people to tell the stories that they want to.
Yeah, we went into depth on it when we did X and Pearl.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like, I feel like it's retribution for one of those movies, or maybe not X so much, but the monologue in Pearl, when we talked about Mia Goth's role, and even her playing multiple characters and doing different things, like retribution for her not getting acknowledged.
Yeah, that the studio is at least being known now as one of the top creative outlets in the world of film. So really awesome that happened. But the way my brain works is a little different. I know Jimmy Kimmel made one connection on the I don't know if it was in his monologue, but at some point he made the connection that Ke Huy Quan and Brendan Fraser were both together in a movie called Encino Man 30 years ago.
You were saying that before, yeah.
That's awesome. But then on top of that, Brendan Fraser and Michelle Yeoh, the top winning actor awards for this year, are the stars of The Mummy 3 Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, which got a lot of trash talk on it. It is still a fun, entertaining
I like that
film.
movie. It's good.
You know, you had Maria Bello, or whatever, I think that's her name, that took over the role from Rachel Weisz. So that was like the big, it's not the same chemistry and whatnot. But what
happened to Rachel Weisz? Is she a Scientologist?
No, she's married to Daniel Craig now. I highly doubt she's a Scientologist. Oh. Yeah, I hope she's not a Scientologist. No offense to Scientologists out there, but Xenu. That was offensive. I'm sorry. They'd be like, I was like, Jesus. Except more, Jesus would be more real. Anyway.
Wait.
All right, so Binge Report is now Religion Report. Binge Religion.
And we bid you adieu.
And we are done. We are never coming back. Thank you, Mr. R, for having us. We will see ourselves out. End transmission. But yeah, so the Oscars are a silly thing. It's a bunch of people getting dressed up in a room to give each other awards.
It's no different than Strasbourg's awards.
No, yeah, like our
chef,
local,
bar,
like they
bartender.
every town in the country.
Shoot, we just told them.
Crap. No, Strasbourg, Germany is very far away from where we are.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, sevens. But yeah, it's a silly, stupid award show. But it's something that I've been watching since I was a kid. I remember being like 11 and watching the 1997 awards. I think it was in 98 for the movies that came out in 97. Right. And I thought that was one of the best years ever for film. Billy Crystal hosted that. That was when Titanic, As Good as It Gets, LA Confidential. Like, it was a really fun, and it was a fun show. Were you allowed
to watch those movies, though?
Yeah, oddly. Yeah. Like, I mean, there were certain parts that my dad would, like, cover my eyes, or cover my ears, or cover my mouth. I think he was just trying to tell me to shut up with that one. Right. But as we know, I don't like to do that. But there were a bunch of movies nominated. So to wrap up the awards talk right now, Zach, I want to ask you what you thought of all these movies here, okay?
Okay.
All right, so these are just the Best Picture nominees. I want you to give a brief synopsis of what the movie was about and then tell me what you thought of it, all right?
Okay.
All right, so the first one up, Tar. Remember Tar? You saw Tar, right?
Never heard of it.
Oh, okay. What do you think it's about? Take a guess.
Cigarettes.
No, it's about an orchestra conductor played by Kate Blanchett. All right.
I like Kate Blanchett.
Next up, the Baz Luhrmann Elvis.
I didn't know that came out.
Yeah, the movie about Elvis. You didn't see the movie about Elvis?
I saw 2 seconds of it because a DVD my dad had.
Austin Butler and Tom Hanks.
Nope.
Oh, okay. There you go.
I bet you it was about Elvis though.
Yeah, Costello, I think.
My favorite.
Avatar: The Way of Water.
I do plan on seeing that one.
All right.
Just didn't.
That's
that's a sexual fish adventure.
Yes, sexual fish adventure is our second shirt we are going to be making. All right, All Quiet on the Western Front.
I mean, I didn't see this one, but I know what that's about.
Yeah, okay, all right.
That was on Netflix, right?
I believe it was Netflix.
Yeah,
it's a German. Yeah, Netflix. Yeah,
it's a German. It's a
German retelling of
that story. Read the book. I do
want to watch that.
It looks like an epic war movie, so it's worth watching. All right, The Fabelmans.
Never heard of it.
All right, so The Fabelmans, I'm just going to say it's a Steven Spielberg movie. I've also not yet seen these. Like most of the people that voted for the Academy Awards, we've not seen almost any of these. The Fabelmans, I think the coolest thing about it is the name is The Fabelmans, right? And it's a story about the Spielbergs. What is a spiel? It's a story.
Yeah,
you go on a spiel?
Yeah,
so he literally changed his name to Fabelmans, and I'm like, I don't know if that gets brought up in the movie, if anybody else has really addressed it.
Sounds dumb.
I just thought it was clever.
Sounds dumb.
All right.
Make a movie, not about yourself.
Next movie, Triangle of Sadness.
It's about a bikini that I will never get into.
Oh, you are right.
I think I've seen this trailer.
It's a couple of influencers are invited on a luxury cruise ship alongside a group out of touch.
Puke all over the cruise ship.
Wealthy people. Yep.
I heard about that.
All right. The only one I've actually seen from this list, The Banshees of Inisherin.
Did not see it.
I did not see Ed Sheeran's Banshee yet.
You have not seen the Sheeran Banshee cover band?
Is that the one I watched the last 15 minutes with?
Yeah, you watched the last 15 minutes of it with me.
Yes, that's great.
I highly recommend. Out of all these movies, this is the only one I've seen.
Best
and
just
also
from
best
watching
actor,
the last
best
15 of
supporting actor. Yeah,
watch that movie.
It's epic. Takes place during the Irish Civil War on a small island. And it's just it's an
island movie, man.
Yeah, it's an island movie. It stars the Island Boys, Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson. That's gonna be their next movie together. They're just gonna get the hair.
That's our third shirt. For that it's characters of those two, but it says the Island Boys.
Yeah, the Island Boys. All right, Women Talking.
Did not watch that.
I didn't know
no comment on that one.
All right. And then the second to last one, obviously Everything Everywhere All at Once is the winner, so we know that.
And we have not watched that either.
But nominated for Best Picture and then only a couple of technical awards is Top Gun Maverick.
Who cares?
Yep.
My feeling on Top Gun, the original and the new one,
Did you see it?
Who cares?
No, I didn't bother watching it. I don't.
Saw it,
yeah, I don't love.
He's a plane nerd.
Yeah, he's a plane
nerd.
I know.
Yeah. I'm not saying.
You watch it. Our buddy's he's a plane
I wasn't
nerd.
sure if you would go
not like
with
a plane nerd.
Like he's a plane nerd.
Like a plane
no,
nerd.
I will see it eventually. I feel like Top Gun Maverick was one of those things that it did its job and it brought back the box office. That's pretty much like the big story about it. And I think because it was so financially successful and so revered by so many people, that there was no
moms.
way.
Only moms went to see it.
I also have
dads. Moms and dads and grandpas.
I also have a hard time looking at, I don't remember his name, but he was in Whiplash, from watching Whiplash.
Oh, Miles Teller.
Yes.
Yeah.
With him with the,
Yeah. Well, it was a big year for him because right when Miles Teller had Top Gun coming out, he was doing The Offer. That was coming out on, I think it was on Paramount. The behind-the-scenes telling of how the Godfather
I do
was
have
brought.
to finish.
And that was great. But yeah, it is hard to look at him as anything else other than the kid from Whiplash.
Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, Mr. Fantastic.
That was a bad movie that I saw.
Bad movie.
Yeah.
All right, so there you go, guys. Go watch some movies. And if you're gonna watch any of the ones from the Oscars, make it. I don't know. Women talking out of respect. All right, so
are you talking about Top Gun, Joey, or Everything Everywhere? Also,
good.
Spawn did get gypped, I believe.
Yeah.
Spawn was a great movie. It doesn't hold up though.
Oh, in '97.
Oh, in '97. I was like, they made a new Spawn this year. We didn't know about it.
They are in the works of making a new Spawn.
Yeah.
All I want is a new Spawn.
All I want is to spawn.
Like the Dad Bulls.
But yeah, guys, let us know in the chat if you've seen any of the movies from the Academy Awards. If you think that we should watch any of them, review any of them, anything like that, well, we might listen to you, we might not. But I definitely, once again, recommend Banshees of Inisherin. It is just, if you've ever seen In Bruges or Seven Psychopaths, it's the same writer, director, and Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson. And
Seven Psychopaths is a great movie too. If you have not watched that, watch that movie.
Oh my! I haven't seen it as much as In Bruges because In Bruges might be in my top 5 films of all time at this point. Go see all of them.
Yes.
Go watch all the Neil McDonough movies.
Go watch all of the movies.
It's the same guy. He also did the Three Billboards outside of blah blah Missouri. That movie with the
3 billboards outside
of something Missouri. Yeah.
They do a Star Wars in Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, they do Star Wars. Okay.
What does that mean?
I'm not sure.
What's Star Wars?
Which one?
Surprise, dude.
Rogue One?
They have lightsabers in this movie?
Somebody goes shooting lightsabers.
Tom Cruise is that drummer guy's dad.
No, this is what my thought is. They're doing flying bleep 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 bleep. They're going all over the place. That's what the sound planes make in my head. And Tom Cruise goes, "Don't get cocky, kid," and then flies away. I'm assuming that's what he's. And then they shoot the Death Star. Yeah.
Sounds about right.
All right, so we'll need to watch
Maverick.
it. Okay. I am going to see it at some point. I'll wait for the 25th anniversary so I can see it in theaters again. But tonight, guys, is all about one thing and one thing only. It is about Cocaine Bear. So let's get into this, and I think a good way to get into it is talk a little bit about the making of the movie first.
Yeah.
All of the other movies we've done so far, we've done a point-for-point breakdown.
Yeah.
And we do not need to do this for that. Do that for this movie.
Yeah, it's a bear.
It's a bear. It does cocaine.
That's the story.
Insanity happens, right?
Yeah.
So a bit of the background. So the script is written by a guy named Jimmy Ward. Jimmy Ward has 2 other real movie writing credits to his name. One is a movie called Borderline, which takes place in the 90s, Los Angeles. 2 people are being stalked, and blah, blah, blah. It's Hugo Weaving's niece is the actress in it. It was a movie that seemed to go kind of under the radar, an indie flick. But yeah, not the one from 1980.
Wait, Jimmy Ward, the cornerback from San Francisco 49ers?
Exactly. It might be that one. I'm not sure. What's the name of the actress? That is definitely not it.
Huh.
There are way too movies named Borderline.
There's
apparently.
a lot of movies.
There's a lot of wow, just a crap load of movies. So he wrote it, but he also wrote the sequel to The Babysitter, which was a pretty big hit. Mick G did the original,
yep.
and then Jimmy Ward wrote the second one. But the way that this movie got made, Jimmy Ward wrote a spec script, which in industry terms, a spec script is basically a script that you start unsolicitedly sending to every production company, every director, everybody just trying to get it sold. It's basically, hey, I can write a movie.
Right.
Here's my movie. So Jimmy Ward wrote it, and it was picked up by Lord and Miller. Lord and Miller are behind crap ton of movies and television.
Speaking of Star Wars, they got replaced.
Yep, they were the guys who created Solo. They were making it, and then Ron Howard came in and replaced them.
I can't find this guy on the internet.
Yeah. He doesn't even have a link in the Wikipedia page for Cocaine Bear. Like, he's done such little stuff, such little work in the industry. But one of the first things he did in the industry was, way back in 2012, he was a production assistant on 21 Jump Street, which was made by Lord and Miller.
Right.
So that was his in right there to the two of them. He sold this script to them. They picked it up. And then Elizabeth Banks comes along, reads the script as well, and she decides that she wants to be a part of it. Now, Elizabeth Banks has only directed 2 movies before Cocaine Bear. That is Pitch Perfect 2, which I've never seen any of the Pitch Perfect movies. This show should really be called We Didn't Watch That.
We didn't watch that.
We didn't see that. And then Charlie's Angels, which I did see and I didn't hate it. She did the remake of Charlie's Angels. It was cool. It was a girl power movie, which is what Charlie's Angels always was.
For sure. I mean, it looked fun. I just never got around to it.
It was better, less ha funny than the Drew Barrymore ones, and just a better, like, fun action flick.
Right.
But she only has these 2 movies, and she decides that her 3rd movie is going to be Cocaine Bear. So she teams up with Lord and Miller, takes the script from Jimmy Ward, and goes about setting up the cast for who she wants in there. She gets an amazing cast assembled by the time the movie is made. This film stars Kerry Russell, Felicity, and The Americans, and Honey, I Blew Up the Baby.
Felicity?
Yeah, Felicity. Yeah. And she's the hot chick in Honey, I Blew Up the Kid, the second Honey, I Shrunk the Kids movie.
She's the hot chick in whatever she's in.
She was also...
Kerry Russell is a very pretty woman.
She's also Mr. Feeney's niece in the first season of Boy Meets World.
You're right.
And her hair is, like, out to here. So...
Keep talking.
Yeah, I'm going to keep talking. Oh, the heat's on. We got to turn that down. So Kerry Russell. Then you have O'Shea Jackson Jr., who is Ice Cube's kid, played Ice Cube in the NWA movie.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
He's amazing in this role.
He's great.
He
had Ice Cube vibes.
Yeah. Oh, it makes sense. He's got Ice Cube DNA. Then
Cold
you got
as ice.
Alden Ehrenreich, who plays Ray Liotta's son in this movie.
Yep.
And he has only
Solo.
He has only done one other movie since or one other project at all since Solo. Like, he was kind of blacklisted a little bit. So then, as you were, I think, just about to say, we get the tie-in to Lord and Miller there. They were the ones that cast him as Solo. Yep. It was their choice. They knew the guy had potential. They really wanted to push for him. And
they were probably
Solo was a good movie.
Solo was a good movie, and whatever whatever they did to it was good enough. And Ron Howard's a master, came in and finished it basically.
Yeah.
So you get Alden Ehrenreich, and then obviously Ray Liotta in his final performance. But a few of the best performances in this movie to me. Margot Martindale, who is the 71-year-old woman who plays the Ranger, and just destroys this movie. She did a lot of the stunts, which is crazy because she's mostly played like a secretary in movies, or like
the one where she died too.
Yeah. They actually killed her. That was the end of it.
So we didn't like Solo.
They were like, Ray Liotta's gone. You're gone.
Yeah.
And then Isaiah Whitlock Jr., who plays the sad sack cop. He famously is from The Wire. But when you look at that man's IMDb page, he is in he was in Human Giant. Like, he's been in everything, everywhere, all at once.
I feel like
somehow.
he popped up in The Office or something.
He definitely had to have been in The Office. Like, or he auditioned for the Stanley role and didn't get it. Like, this guy plays cops a lot. He plays teachers, principals. Like, he is a great character actor, and this role really let him just play in a weird way. The 2 kids, Christian Convery and Brooklyn Prince, newer, younger actors.
The kid was the boy was so funny.
Yeah, it was great.
I was trying to, and the problem right now with it being such a new movie, we've only seen it once. most people have only seen it once. There aren't really full breakdowns yet.
Yeah.
So finding like, oh, what was that one line? Like we haven't gotten to the point where we're all quoting the movie left and right. But that kid had so many one-liners throughout this film. So that's the cast. Ray Liotta, and then obviously Jesse Tyler Ferguson from Modern Family as the other Ranger. He is the one that doesn't want to call animals, wants to call them friends.
The ambulance crew were hilarious too. I've definitely seen them in other things.
Yeah. And then the backup characters are the 3 local hooligans.
Played by like 35, 40-year-old guys.
Exactly.
Great, casting.
They are a little bit younger than I thought, but they aren't like 15-year-olds like they're supposed to be playing. And I believe all 3 of them are Irish locals that were like are actors, but they were easier to cast for them there. And the movie is ultimately released by Universal here. A cool thing about how it was released in other countries, we get Cocaine Bear.
Yeah.
Everyone in countries that might be a little bit more conservative got Crazy Bear. So I guess in that movie, the bear just eats a bunch of crazy
powder, dude.
They're like
crazy
powder.
Powder.
How did they change that?
Just because they don't want. It's like how Zack and Miri make a porno. Speaking of Elizabeth Banks, was just called Zack and Miri because like cities, like the city of Philadelphia and New York and a bunch of other cities,
I'm pretty sure you just saw Zack and Miri.
Porno, a word that we avoided saying all of the episode of X and Pearl, and I've just said twice now. During the Cocaine Bear episode, though, so whatever. Things gonna get silly. So either way, it's released as Crazy Bear in a bunch of other countries, and then the budget for it, just to get all the info out right away, $30 to $35 million. Over half of that is on the bear itself, because Shock.
Because there's only like 12 actors.
And the
most of them, bear looked great, dude.
So good.
I mean, you can see it in the shot here.
It is all CG.
They did really, really well.
But the fact that Cocaine Bear had better CG for the bear than what was that movie Harrison Ford just did? Call of the Wild. Like the dog in that has like cartoon eyes. Like somehow, like I don't know. I think they were going to make it a little bit more child friendly and approachable. But this, like,
you're telling me Cocaine Bear wasn't made for kids?
It was made
Joey,
for the kids.
I hate to break it to you.
What?
But the bear wasn't real.
Yeah, the bear ain't real, man. I don't think they would be allowed to make this movie if they were like, all right, here's the thing. We're going to get 72 black bears, and we're going to just slowly kill all of them with all this cocaine. But we want real terror in Felicity's eyes as her daughter is hiding in a cave.
And yes, we will be able to control it. Don't worry. You guys can stand next to it. Don't worry.
I don't know if you've ever known a human on cocaine, but they're very easily controlled. So $30 to $35 million budget, and as of earlier today, at least, it is at $66 million worldwide, making it a successful movie.
Yeah,
like financially, awesome. It is a success. Big success.
Also, that's good. Like, I'll go see another Elizabeth Banks film.
Oh yeah, and I hope this pushes her and I was gonna say A24. They didn't do this. And Universal to just go weird. Like, start making weird movies.
Yeah.
So Elizabeth Banks,
do what A24 is doing.
Elizabeth Banks took this film, and in a number of interviews, the one I watched was her on the Conan O'Brien podcast, Conan Needs a Friend. She discussed the making of the movie and how she saw the film. And what she sees it as is a revenge film for the original bear.
Right.
Because that bear was an innocent bystander that just smelt something and ate it.
Yeah, this is real. If you don't know,
it's real.
This really happened.
Now,
the bear killing all the people in the story, and Ray Liotta wasn't there. At least the first time, I don't think Ray Liotta was there.
I don't think Ray Liotta could have been involved.
He could have been involved, though. I don't know.
He was studying for Goodfellas and Blow years in advance.
Yes.
Which, to get to that, is a very fitting end to a man's career, who 2 of his biggest roles ever are in movies all about cocaine.
Yes.
And spoiler alert, his death at the end is just wonderful.
Incredible.
It's so good. So in addition to her saying this is a revenge film, she wanted it to be made clear that she doesn't want this to be Jaws for black bears.
Right.
Just don't give a bear cocaine, and black bears are pretty docile. Zach, you've encountered plenty of them. Some have lived to tell the tale, some have not.
One chased my dad.
Like literally like weeks ago, his dad got chased by a black bear.
As long as you're not messing with cubs, they really around their food source.
They really show that in the movie.
Good,
oh yeah, don't mess with the cubs.
If you see bear cubs, do not.
They're adorable.
Near.
Walk away.
Do not mess with the bear cubs because Mama don't leave the cubs too far.
Unlike a great white shark, a black bear is not going to come out at you and just attack you for no reason. Black bear does
not want to eat you.
No.
It only wants to protect its babies.
Yep.
And the movie is sort of the plot of the movie.
Oh yeah. Oh definitely. Like there's a game.
Mama bear's protecting his two little cokehead baby bears.
Yes.
It just so happens that it's in a public national
forest. Chattahoochee, which now the Chattahoochee Coochie Coochie song was stuck in my head all after that. It usually plays at my job every day, no matter what channel I put on. And since I've seen the movie, it's gone away. So I think that was the key to getting rid of that song.
There you go.
But I still have that 3 to 7, 7 to 3, 11 to 7 song playing all the time. That's a different thing, though. All right, guys. So the film, 7 to 3, 3 to 7. 7 to 11. It's literally a song about like working boys.
3 shifts?
Yeah, it's about being a working guy and working one of the shifts. Doesn't matter what. Written and recorded by a man who's never worked a day job. It's literally what it is. So the film, again, is loosely inspired by the events surrounding a 175-pound American black bear.
Which is small.
Small.
So the bear in the movie...
that's
if
got
I
to be
had to guess,
pound.
that's like 4+.
Yeah.
Especially for black bears, if you don't live out here in the east. Black bears aren't gigantic.
No, you see them and you're like, ooh, that's a bear.
They're big. They are big.
But they're closer than you think.
4 years ago, the boys up on the hill shot an 800-pound
buck. Oh, yeah.
So they can get enormous.
Oh, is that the one that was being fed locally by a restaurant? No, that was a Bushkill a few years back.
Yeah, Bushkill.
Yeah.
No, this was
which is near Dusseldorf in Germany where we are.
Yes.
Yeah, so, again, the American black bear that died, it died after ingesting a duffel bag of cocaine in December 1985. All of this is true. The cocaine had been dropped out of an airplane piloted by Andrew C. Thornton II, who was a former narcotics officer and then convicted drug smuggler.
It's usually the other way around, isn't it?
Yeah, you get paid to stop being a drug smuggler and you work for the FBI.
Yeah.
This guy was doing the Lord's work.
Amen, baby.
The Miami Lord's work. The Miami drug lord's work. So, again, he was a convicted drug smuggler, and all of this happened because his plane was carrying too much weight, and all that weight was in cocaine. So he jumped out of the plane with a faulty parachute and then died. He landed in a guy's driveway.
Yep. Which is the footage that
they use in the movie.
The real
footage. That's
the
real footage. The real guy.
Yep.
He landed. The parachute failed to open. The emergency chute opened, but did very little to help him. And he had like 70 pounds of cocaine in a duffel bag. And that's when they realized, this plane went down. And he literally was just ditching duffel bags full of drugs
the way it opens and he's just hyped up, throwing the bags out and then cracks his head, dude.
Yeah. So the bear, in real life, unfortunately, it died. As you would after it consumed the cocaine. It was found 3 months later in northern Georgia alongside 40 opened plastic containers of cocaine. So all of that's true. And if you want to, visit the cocaine bear. It has been stuffed and mounted. Yeah. It is in Kentucky at the Kentucky Fun Mall, which is in Lexington. And they are the ones that dubbed it Cocaine Bear. It has a plaque, and it's been there since 2015. And then, so all that's the real stuff. So everything else about it, Elizabeth Banks saw the story, loved the idea of where the guy was going with the original script, and was like, okay, what happens in the meantime between it eating the cocaine and it dying?
Right, had to do something.
Nobody knows. Like, for all we know, it just ran. Because if it, it was found in Georgia, which is where the movie takes place, but not where the original story starts. So if it was found there, it might have just ran like hundreds of miles, just like out of its mind, high on cocaine. So
it had a bunch of really good business ideas.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, you want to throw any?
No.
All right.
I don't have any right now. Business ideas.
Yeah, business ideas. Last thing I didn't say is the film was it was filmed entirely in Ireland,
right?
Which is bizarre that they chose Ireland to look like Georgia.
Got me.
Like, that's crazy.
I've never been to either. So
but in the words of Austin Powers, hey, doesn't the south of England look a lot like Southern California? It happens all the time in films. I'm sure it was just, a cheaper alternative. And this was during, like, COVID that she got the script and that they started working on it. They filmed it in August to September of 2021. And then Ray Liotta passed away last year, and this was the final movie that...
Do you think that they were holding off to get clearance to have a death scene of...
Ray Liotta? I think giving it a little bit of time was probably a wise thing, because that death scene is pretty epic, and if you had released it the week he died, it probably would have left...
Wait, that's not really how he died.
No, Ray Liotta was killed by a bear in Georgia.
In Ireland?
Yeah,
I mean Georgia?
Because his son, Johnny Depp, was stealing the bear's cocaine. That's what happened in real life.
Yes.
But yeah, so as of right now, again, it's made $66 million. It has a 69% Rotten Tomatoes critic score and a 72 from the audience.
First, I thought you said Rotten Tomatoes.
I probably did. Rotten Tomatoes. Was my website Rotten Tomatoes? Tomaters.
Maters.
Maters
and taters.
But
taters and maters.
I'm from Ireland.
I know we want to talk about the movie and just like how the storyline went, but the first thing I want to read before we get into this is the Roger Ebert review of Cocaine Bear. Roger Ebert is famous for being wrong about a lot of things historically and then changing his mind later.
Tomaturds.
He's been wrong about a lot of things and then changed his mind later. He obviously from Siskel and Ebert, that the two of them had a show for years discussed this, discussed movies, and they might have been on Cocaine Bear while they made some of those. So here's his review on RogerEbert.com. There will be before Cocaine Bear and after Cocaine Bear. This is how we will mark time from now on as a society. That's how transformative this motion picture is. Okay, perhaps not. Perhaps it's not that profound, but it is an incredible blast, especially if you have the benefit of seeing director Elizabeth Banks' insanely violent comedy thriller with a packed crowd. The communal experience is essential here. Cocaine Bear will bring people together. Cocaine Bear will save cinema. That's because Cocaine Bear knows exactly what it is and what it needs to do. It's about a bear on cocaine. Comparisons to the 2006 disaster extravaganza Snakes on a Plane are inevitable with its high-concept wild animal premise, as well as the giddy hype that preceded it. Both movies do precisely what their titles suggest, with a minimal desire to be more substantial or meaningful. The few times Cocaine Bear injects even a meager amount of sentimentality, the pacing starts to lag. This is not why we are here. We're here to see a bear snort a bunch of cocaine, then go on a murderous rampage in the forest. He goes on for a little bit longer, but that's
it. Yeah,
that should be read before every screening of Cocaine Bear. You know what you were getting yourself into when you go see that movie. So. Sharknado couldn't have been more direct of a title than Cocaine Bear.
Sure.
And it just
you ever seen Sharknado? It does.
Yeah.
It's on the level of.
Oh, no,
I mean, Cocaine Bear is a better film. But you're getting what it's telling you.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like that's what it is.
It doesn't fuck
it's
around.
It's a tornado made of sharks.
Yes,
and that's our one. Ooh, you wasted it early, bro.
What'd you say?
The F word.
We're talking about coke.
You can do cocaine talk and not talk about swear words.
I don't think it matters.
So Mr. R is going to come in and hit you with the wand soon. Punish you. 30 lashes.
30 lashings. What do you mean?
Really stoop so low?
Stoop so low as far as the movie or the show?
As the show? This show will stoop lower. Don't worry. The movie, it's just epic. So the film starts, Justin, you were already kind of saying this.
Yes.
It starts with the scene of the character of the drug dealer throwing just massive amounts in duffel bags of cocaine out the window. or out the hatch.
Oh, they relaxed their cursing policies. Free range. Here we go. No, I'm just kidding.
Not going to say what I was going to say. All right. So he's throwing him out, and he's all giddy and ridiculous. And Elizabeth Banks really wanted a cameo for this, so the character is played by Matthew Rhys, who is Kerry Russell's husband.
Well, thank you, dude.
And also her co-star from The Americans. He literally sent a picture of himself with a fake mustache on and was just like, can I do this role? And she went, that's perfect. Let's go with it. And the humor of the movie right off the bat is established. He's dancing all over the place. He's all jittery. He's obviously flying high in 2 different ways. And he's just bailing all the cocaine. And immediately at this part in the movie, I looked at you and I went, Reverend Horton Heat.
Yeah.
Bales of cocaine falling from low-flying planes. I don't know who done dropped them, but I think I'm just the same. And I went, I bet that song is about this story.
What's up, Cuz Jones?
What's up, what's up? So it opens up with that, and then he goes with a parachute to jump out with one last duffel bag, and he smacks his head on the doorway, falls down, and just gets sucked right out. And I'm pretty sure that's where you go to the opening credits.
I really like the duffel bag design too.
Oh yeah, the 80s.
The 80s rainbow duffel. We're gonna see them. Oh,
exactly. I was gonna say in the way that like
Halloween?
Hopper's shirt from season 3 or whatever of Stranger Things was like sold everywhere. It is going to be a duffel bag.
I mean, it could be Cocaine Bear for Halloween.
You could be.
It could be. Yes. Or you could just be carrying around one of those bags and be like.
Yeah, no one's going to be suspicious about those bags after this. I think sports teams should start using those bags. Just the Dallas Cowboys. Just go back to the way of the 80s, guys. And, yeah, so the bags of cocaine get dropped. And then after that, it cuts to a couple hiking in the woods. And it is... It is a great performance by both of these.
Olaf was his name?
Yeah, Olaf, I think is his real name.
Such a good character.
Or no, not his real name, but the character. But it is, what's his name that played Tormund Giantsbane from obviously from Game of Thrones. His name is Christopher Hivju. I'm not sure how you pronounce it because it's Nordic, Norwegian at least. So the 2 of them are in the woods sightseeing, and then my favorite line that I can remember is they start taking pictures of the bear, and they're like, oh, and they just go, we get so lucky in nature.
Yes, yeah.
And then there's funny dialogue. They're arguing about what they want to name their son.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
they're gonna have they're 2 hikers from Norway on vacation.
Yeah, it could be their
she
honeymoon.
Wants to name this son Texas.
Texas, and he's like, that's a state. You don't know anything.
And then he's like, I know your brother's band was gonna play at our wedding, but
they're not good.
But yeah, she's like, they're not good. I don't want them to play.
He's like, whoa. And then they kind of like that's like the last conversation they have before they see the bear.
Yeah.
And very quickly, the guy's like, there's something wrong with that bear. And the bear, best introduction for the bear ever, is just smacking its head against trees.
Yes.
And then like, yeah, and she's like, what do you mean there's something wrong? And then she looks and there's no bear. And then first jump scare, poof, the bear is like much closer to them and obviously deranged.
Yeah.
They start running, to no avail. She is tackled down a hill and then just ripped to shreds feet away from her husband, who just looks wonderfully terrified. He sells this role.
He plays it
so well. Just like a happy-go-lucky, I just want to be in nature with my lover and have a good time and we have fun. And then all of a sudden, death reigneth on us.
Especially because I have not seen him do anything since Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I'm sure he's done a few things that were off the radar, or he shaved his beard so you didn't recognize him.
Yeah.
But this was just wonderful because
he's a weatherman in Norway.
Yes. It's got to be cold.
I expect snow.
Snow and freeze and cold and snow and sex. Norway, they're free with
snow
their
and sex.
Sex and snow. So this happens, and then I'm pretty sure after this we cut to the kids, or the daughter and Kerry Russell.
Yeah, at home.
They're at home, and the girl wants to go paint the rainbow. I saw a couple of things in write-ups where they said that she was going to go make a painting of the rainbow, but I assumed they were going to put paint in the water.
Yeah, that's what I thought they were trying to do.
That's who knows, because they don't really establish that
ever.
Or
paint the rocks around.
Sorry, not the rainbow, the waterfall. Paint the waterfall. Thanks. Go paint. She wanted to go taste the waterfall.
Skittles.
Taste the waterfall. Skittles, all water flavored.
This is just water.
Flavored Skittles.
They're tricking me into hydrating. What's this crap? I don't know. I keep eating them though. Now I'm writing bits for Brian Regan now. Yeah. Look at this. It says the serving size is 72 ounces of Skittles. What the hell's that? Thank you. Yeah. So they're having a little conversation. The mom's got to go to work. The daughter kind of has a fun little back and forth about like, you just want to go be with like Dr. Studface or whatever.
Right.
And
because she's a nurse.
Yeah, she's a nurse, so she's got to go. Be.
I like how they interject the backstories without
forcing it.
Yeah, maybe they spent 30 seconds on explaining why she doesn't want to why she can't take her daughter to the waterfall tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because they have plans to go to Nashville with the Studley doctor.
Yeah.
And then there's just a flashback.
Done.
It's 10 seconds of her kissing the Studley doctor on the cheek.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's
all they show you.
And that's all you need.
That's all you need.
And as Ebert said, any moment of sentimentality, it's like, come on, quicker to the cocaine bear, all right? We're here for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same
thing when... that sets up the story.
Oh, no.
Why does the girl skip school and go to the waterfall? Because her mom said she can't go.
And that is something that this movie does very well throughout, is it's giving all the characters agency. It's giving all the characters actual, like... You have something to like and or hate about each character.
Sure.
Whereas in movies like Sharknado or Snakes on a Plane, there's not really a lot of character development. You're just there for Snakes on a Plane or a shark tornado.
Well, with her friend, she does the same thing. The setup is, hey, we're going. Yeah. You're coming with me.
Yeah, you're coming with me.
You know what I mean?
And then, so it's the next day in the morning, she makes her best friend in a very cool, because it takes place in the 80s. I'm assuming, I don't know if they ever say
Walkman,
1985.
Right? She had a Walkman?
Yeah, she has a Walkman. Yeah. I don't know, I feel like they established that, but either way, basing it on the story from 85, it makes sense that you're at a time where in, rural Georgia, the kids skipping school and then going off and playing in the woods is pretty straightforward. Like, it's just, if they had a day off, they would just be playing in the woods anyway.
Sure.
And they obviously are experienced with the area that she knows how to get right there without any help.
Way down yonder in the Chattahoochee.
Coochie. I can't hear it without saying coochie. Sorry, guys. Coochie, but what I say is coochie.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's because I'm a prevert. So they leave and they go walking down, and then after that we get the establishment of the park ranger, and again, this order might not be in fully correct. She is at work in the park rangers thing. And then there's the quick introduction.
It might go to Ray Liotta.
It might go to Ray Liotta then, yeah.
It might set him up there.
Or the cops, yeah. Because there's a bunch of stories going on that all converge.
Yeah, they all kind of start at the same time. They all sort of start...
within the first 10 minutes.
And then resolve in the same...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So just to establish all the storylines in whatever order they're actually in, you get the introduction of the park ranger.
Yep.
You get the hooligan number one, who is credited only as Vest. And the other one's credited as Stash. Like they gave them no names. Like you're just idiots in the woods. Yeah. And they're obviously there's a backstory that these three kids are always causing trouble. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then you get Jesse Tyler Ferguson, who is the man that she is dolling herself up for, putting on her lipstick.
Yep,
blames the cigarette smoke on the kid. Who's just stealing candy every time she turns around, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
And something that you'd do if you were a bored kid in Georgia and there was a park ranger's office that gave out or sold candy.
Yeah.
And then so you get that set up. And then you get the Ray Liotta setup, with O'Shea Jackson playing David. At first, I thought that he was just named David, but it's David. His name is David, or David, however you want to pronounce it.
Where Ray Liotta is watching his son's
his grandson, and he's terrible,
like a Chuck E.
with
Cheese
kids.
or something in a mall,
and he sends him basically like, you got to go get my son.
Yeah.
Snap him out of it, because I think it's his wife has died, or his
wife
girlfriend
died,
yeah.
And so he's just super depressed. And then they
What's up, Michael?
So the two of them are going to go out and go to Georgia, where this is apparently being reported from, and they are going to retrieve it all. Right. And then you meet Alden Ehrenreich's character.
Dude, the pasta.
The pasta. Oh my God!
He's at a bar when David comes in, and he's like sitting at a bar eating the most plain-looking pasta, and he's trying to convince him to come with him.
Crying.
He's crying in the pasta, and then the bartender comes up to the other guy. And he's like, "Yeah, I'll have the penne."
No, he calls it something weird. It's like penne.
Penne. He says penne.
Yeah, what's in the penne?
Yeah, what's in the penne? Or he said, "I'll have the," and then he looks at Alden and he goes, "What's in that? Like chicken?" Or and he's like, "No, it's just plain." It's so sad. But that's all you need to show how sad this man was. Yep.
You did get a couple more scenes of him being sad.
Oh yeah, you get throughout.
Yeah, but it
slowly,
sets it up.
But it sets it up perfect. Yeah.
In a 20-second joke, sets up his whole demeanor.
Yeah.
And then the last little leg of the story is the cop who's from out of state. I forgot what state that they said he is from. But he's going to drive to Georgia to try to wrap up the case because he sees it as his responsibility.
Been tailing,
the drug dealer Sid.
Yeah, Ray Liotta the whole time, for years. And he knows that it's Ray Liotta.
Yeah, it's something to do with him, and he's going to leave his jurisdiction. So the dog. So there are three characters that you meet. He gets a dog that he has adopted through like a hotline, and he wanted like a Doberman or something.
No, he wanted a
lab. He wanted a lab.
He's like, this one doesn't look the same.
It doesn't like to play fetch. And then he starts talking to a coworker.
It's this tiny little dog.
It's a little poodle with like a poodle chihuahua mixed with a bow.
Or some sort of terrier or something like that.
As my dad would say, a little foo-foo dog,
Yeah.
It's just this little dog.
Your dad had a little foo-foo dog.
Yeah, I know, and that's what he called it, a little foo-foo dog. So he's got this little foo-foo dog in a box, like the box when you get fired in every movie they give you.
Evidence box.
Yeah, the evidence box, and then he is discussing with his coworker that he's going to be going on this thing, and then he's also talking to her about the dog, and he's like, you have a dog? And she's like, I used to have a dog. Maybe that's where the Doberman came in, something like that. And then he's like, and then, leaves the dog with her.
Which is another thing.
You're good with dogs. She's like, no, I said I had a dog. I didn't say I was good with the one, which made me chuckle because I'm like, oh, her dog died.
Yeah.
It was also funny, too, when he's asked her, like, what are you doing tonight?
Yeah.
She's like, I was like 40 years younger than him. She's like, you're a nice guy. And he's like, watch my dog?
And he's just super sad. You don't get a lot of backstory on him other than he is apparently a dedicated to his work police officer. Doesn't seem to have a family, anything along those lines. Obviously
cop
single.
Stuck on a case.
Yeah, exactly.
He wants to solve this case.
The consummate professional.
Yeah.
And so we get him setting up that story, and then he goes to drive to Georgia. Now you get everything starting to fall into place, and it starts with the kids coming across cocaine.
Which is so funny.
And this scene is the only thing I was told by our buddy Steve-O about the movie, because I was like, I'm really excited to see it. And he goes, all right, I'm just going to let you know one thing, because there's no spoiling this movie.
Right.
Spoiler alerts in full effect for this unspoilerable movie. The kids eat cocaine.
Yeah, because the kid is trying to be like,
I'm trying to look cool.
He says the line, I do cocaine after church every Sunday. Me and Frank or whatever. Yeah. And he's like, you and Frank don't do that. He's like, do you know Frank? No, I don't. Well, then you wouldn't know. You hang out with Frank? No, I don't. Well, then you wouldn't know. And he's like, so what do you do? ate it. And then she takes the pocket knife from him, cuts it open.
No, she makes it.
Oh, she makes him go. She's like, you do it.
Yeah.
And then he takes it. And, no, because she eats it first.
Oh, she eats it first.
Oh,
She
yes,
eats it
you're
first.
right,
She
you're
cuts
right,
it. He's
you're
like,
right.
I don't
Oh,
want
yeah,
to do it. Basically, I don't want to spoil my appetite. I got to do cocaine on Sunday. And then she takes it. And she's like, how much? And she takes a whole pocket knife and covers it. Like, not Scarface level, but more than anybody would ever need for a lifetime, especially at the age of 12. It might end your life. And she takes all of that cocaine and just puts it right into her mouth and immediately spits it all out everywhere. And she's like, it tastes nasty. You do it. And he takes the knife and he goes in and he's obviously nervous because he's going to get found out that he's lying and trying to look cool in front of his friend.
He does eat cocaine after church on Sundays.
Yeah.
And he takes just as much as she does and does the same thing, spits it all out, and he's like, oh, tastes terrible. This doesn't taste like the stuff I do. And then they're goofing around like this, and then she puts her snack while they're doing this on a garbage can, and they're walking off into the distance. I forget what why they're walking away from where they were, but then you see the bear's hand come in and take the snack out of the way. And then
Didn't they find more? Maybe I think they saw more.
I think they start seeing the evidence of the excess amounts of cocaine that has already been torn apart. Yeah. And this is where you get to meet the cocaine bear. Really, you've seen him, you've been teased and everything, but now you're like for real. Oh, he smells the cocaine.
Yes, he smells the cocaine.
And that's She. You are right. It is a she.
It is a female
which
bear,
we find out later.
Yes.
In a great scene. So they have their interaction. The boy is trying to fight off the bear and everything, and then the bear just takes the girl and drags her into the forest, and that's all you see from the girl.
Yeah. Now, I think it cuts to another scene. You don't really see anything after that. After
this, you get it kind of all gets a little foggy here because there's so much happening all at once. But the mother realizes that the daughter's not at school, gets the phone call right when she's like drinking her wine, takes her shower, like she worked overnight and everything, and she goes to the park rangers to find out what's going on. But Jesse Tyler Ferguson and the park ranger Liz are like pretty much ready to go get freaky deaky in the woods. Well, she definitely is. She definitely is trying just like, to. You won't be any inconvenience. You know? Yeah. And so they join on the not an investigation, but on the routine
trail inspection.
The trail inspection, yeah.
Because he's an inspector for the federal government.
Yep.
You know. And
so they go off and they start walking. And the funny line where they're at the fork in the road and they're just like, well, where do we go? You know, like, well, this way is the more scenic way. I really like the scenic route. And then Kerry Russell just beelines it the other way, keeps going up. You get from there. You have the. Do they interact with the cocaine bear at that point? They don't see. Oh, that's where they find the boy.
That's where they find the boy.
They find the boy, and then the boy is up in a tree. And they're like, what are you doing up in the tree? And he's like, get away. And then there's the whole scene of Kerry Russell, that classic horror thriller movie scene where the person's on the other side of the tree, or in Jurassic Park underneath, you know, like the make tables in the kitchen and whatnot. That whole... And then Jesse Tyler Ferguson... runs off terrified. The woman runs off, or gets slashed in the leg. She gets slashed, but she tries to shoot it. Yeah, she tries to shoot it, and then she runs off to the station. And then Jesse Tyler Ferguson falls face first into a bag of cocaine and is just covered in cocaine and runs over, and they're trying to get the kid out of the tree. And he's like, "No, you can't. Like, can't be. There's a bear. There's a bear. Okay." And then Jesse Tyler Ferguson, now high on cocaine, just runs straight up the tree. And he's like, climb up the tree. And he's like, gets up there. He's like, why? He's like, bears can't climb trees. And then him being a park ranger, he's like, no, bears can climb trees. And then the bear starts climbing up his tree. The boy's tree with Kerry Russell on the other side of it. And then the bear smells the cocaine from the other side of the tree. Or from the other tree. Straight out of the tree. Runs over, runs up, and just destroys Jesse Tyler Ferguson. And the shot is just of the tree trunk at the bottom on the ground.
Yeah, he's just belly button up. He's upside down.
and he just falls, hits the ground.
All the blood, though, it was great.
The gore level in this movie is perfect.
It is.
It is so good. And honestly, even like when they showed the bear scratch on the lady, the park ranger Liz, on her ass, basically, it like all of the makeup, all of the practical effects in this are done amazingly. All the CG is as believable as they need to be for what we're dealing with.
Now, while that's happening, though, the cop shows up.
The cop shows up, parks his car, and then so does the bad guys, so to speak.
The cops get there, but the cop gets there a little bit before.
Yep.
And then he kind of wanders off, or I forget where he goes. I'm assuming he just wanders off.
Yeah, he's going and like looking and investigating.
And then the two show up.
The drug recovery team. They show up and then they go off walking into the woods.
No. He gets in a fight in the bathroom.
Oh, you're right. That's like the best scene.
Then they walk away, and then because the dude thinks that the park ranger coming back is talking about him.
Yeah. And then they're thinking about that, but it's about the bear.
She's talking about the bear, but he's talking about the dude that beat him up in the bathroom.
Yeah, and the beat up scene in the bathroom was hilarious. They stab him in the shoulder and everything, and he just like lays to waste all of these guys. And then,
the running joke is he's all about fashion.
He's wearing Air Jordans. He's got a nice jersey. He's like, I love this jersey. I love this. This is great.
I mean, it said 22. I'm assuming it was supposed to be Jordan.
I don't know. It's a baseball jersey.
Was it a baseball jersey? I thought it was a basketball. Oh yeah, no, because he unbuttoned it.
Yeah. I forget what the name across it was, but it was like a fashion jersey, more or less. So they get there. There's the interaction in the bathroom between the three idiots who just get the crap kicked out of them,
and they take one hostage.
And then they take one hostage, and they just throw water on his face to like get him back awake, and because they realize that they know where the cocaine is, because they have one bag of cocaine in their pocket.
Yeah, when he's beating him up, he notices that it falls out or something like that.
Well, I think Eddie, Sid's kid, is like, what did you do? And he goes over there and he finds it, and they're like, all right. And then that's when they wake the kid up, and then they take, as he's credited, Stash, who's just a wonderfully loving character. He's just simple-minded, just a simple boy.
Yep.
Who's just he's a good boy. He's just misdirected, you know.
He's just hanging out with the wrong crowd.
Hanging out with the wrong crowd. Boys will be boys, George. I was giving myself credit for a nice little Dennis the Menace reference there.
It's good for you.
Thank you. Sorry, let me deal with this a little bit. It felt good. Thank you. Anyway, so they go from the park ranger thing. There's that whole interaction where there's the confusion of he's gonna come for us, blah blah blah. Then from there, they all go back. Who goes back into the woods?
So at this point, the cop, the two woods.
Yeah, the cop's off in the woods.
And the two other hooligans wake up and go into the ranger station and call an ambulance.
She comes back.
Yes.
Yeah, they break, because I'm guessing it's locked. They break in. She shows up, and they're like, she's like, call an ambulance. Already did. Yeah. All right, great. And they have the conversation where she's talking about this bear that these kids have never seen.
Yeah.
And they're talking about how
the dude from the city that just
beat the crap out of him and gave somebody a concussion.
Yeah. And then, so from that, the bear breaks into the station, right? Or the bear gets...
No, kills the one kid. He opens up the...
door.
Knocks on the door, and she's like, open it up. I'm going to shoot it. And he's like, what?
Oh, then she shoots him in the head.
Yeah, and he's like, it's a bear. And she shoots him in the head because she's awful. She's an awful shot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's a Star Wars reference right there. Yeah. She is basically a stormtrooper with that shot.
Yes. But she kills him. He falls in front of the door. They close. She pushes the door closed, or the other kid helps push it closed. And then they hear the bear climb up onto the roof.
And then she is injured.
Yes.
And then the ambulance eventually shows up.
Well,
a little bit later.
Yeah, right? Then the kid gets his head. We think that it's going to break through. Remember, I think it's going to break through the...
you think he's on the roof, he's going to break through, and the kid's up against the window.
Yeah.
And then the bear goes through and just pulls him. Yeah. And then,
then the ambulance shows
up. They're like, they said it was for a concussion. And they're trying to get the door open. They can't. And finally, they push the door open.
That's so funny. So they're trying to get the door open because the dead body's in front of the door.
Yeah.
It's just a silly Just a silly little thing that was perfect.
Yeah, and they push up and they finally notice it, and then it's kind of that like slipping on blood scene.
Yeah,
You're like, oh, and then there's two people with the ambulance. There's a guy and a girl. The girl goes and finds the park ranger who's sitting there, and she's trying to speak,
just saying, but,
and she can't. And then the guy is like looking around, and he sees a pool of blood coming out of this doorway. And this is where we get to the shot that is on our screen right here.
It's way darker in the theater when the bear kind of, you just see two eyes, and then it was great.
Yeah, there's been plenty of movies where there's an animal that's coming out of the darkness like that, whether it's like a lion or something, like a tiger or a bear. It is.
But it was just sitting there. Obviously, just went on a rampage. But it's sitting there pretty docile.
Yeah,
and he closes the door.
And he walks out. And right when that is happening, the lady takes the stethoscope, puts it to her mouth, and goes, "Bear!" And then the guy comes through, he's like, "Bear!" And then the thing jumps through, and they have her on the gurney, right, at this point, and they get her into the ambulance. She gets moved into the ambulance, and then the guy...
Did they? I forget how they get her on the gurney.
I forget what the order
is. No, she walks.
She walks. They strap her to the gurney.
The driver straps her in. She takes off. The guy's still running and gets in the ambulance.
Because he's being crushed by the bear on the door.
Under the door, right. Yeah. And then so they're like, he's like, go, 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 gets out from underneath the door, runs, makes it. It's one of those scenes where you're like, he's not going to make it, the bear's going to get him right there.
Especially because he's like, stop. You know what I mean?
And so they get in, and the lady, the ranger is still wielding the gun, and he's like, what are you doing? And it's another scene of like you killed that man and all that. And then the bear starts...
Good morning, Japan.
Oh, good morning, Japan.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. So then the bear starts chasing, and that scene is... There are a handful of amazing scenes, but the bear just ferociously chasing down the ambulance is just so great.
Slowly catching
up.
It
gains on them, and it's just like go, 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 go. And then the guy gets taken out. And then
the bear jumps in.
The bear jumps in. The guy gets taken out, and then the ambulance, she loses control of the ambulance. And then probably the coolest shot in the entire movie is when the gurney goes flying out, and then just lands on her face first. And it just grinds her face. And me, like an idiot in this moment, goes, "Oh, she could still be alive. she could still be alive, right? They're not gonna kill her. She was a nice character." So that's all happening.
The ambulance crashes. Ejects the driver.
Yep.
The bear, the bear, every time the
sheriff did get tossed. Yes. Yeah,
real toss.
She did not have a good time on that gurney.
No, and
well, I love that the bear's just nonchalance to like, she just caused all this mass and then just gets out and just like,
well, I mean,
and just like walks off into the woods.
It's no different in the first kill that we really see. I mean, obviously we don't see the woman getting killed,
mangled. Yeah.
But when he's in the tree, literally just drops the body and then comes down and starts licking the leg, which is covered in cocaine.
Yeah.
It's not, you know what I mean? Like,
it knows what it wants at this point.
Yeah.
And it's looking for more of it.
Yeah.
And unbeknownst to everybody at this time, there are cubs who are also enjoying cocaine. So the mother is trying to provide cocaine for its babies because they're all hooked on cocaine.
Yes.
At some point, you find out Kerry Russell asks the young boy, which way do they take her? They point in a direction. The kid points in a direction. They start hiking
off. They walk
off
through the beautiful Irish landscape.
Yeah, the Irish Georgian cocaine cubs. I'm sure the Chicago Cubs would love that name. And they start walking off, and it's around this time that you find out that the girl is alive.
Yeah,
she is just in the cave.
Yes.
Which winds up being behind the waterfall that they were trying to get to this whole entire time. While this is happening...
Well, you have the interaction with the three where they're, because it's almost like, and it was mentioned on their way up, is how one was not a good friend through the other's suffering. You know what I mean? Like when his wife died.
Oh yeah. Well,
so now you have
the Eddie and David conversation.
Yeah, you have Eddie, who is now sad.
Yep.
Playing devil's advocate to this young kid who is talking more good things. Yeah. You know, and being more smart when he's just his brain, like, and looks
David
like a brain dead
really
kid.
Wanting nothing to do with it. He just wants to know where the cocaine is, and that's okay. So that's how it gets there. He stashed the cocaine at a gazebo.
Yes.
And then the line is like a gazebo, and he goes, "It's like a shelter house that like." He starts saying something stupid like that. He's like, "I know what a gazebo is.
Yeah.
Take me to it." So they get to the gazebo. But not before the cop gets there. Yeah. So the cop gets to the gazebo and is just taking a break and kind of enjoying the nature. And then he looks up and he's like, "Oh." And then that's the last shot you see of the cop. And then they...
Well, it's funny because he tries climbing it a bit.
Oh, yeah, he does try climbing
He's
a little bit.
He's trying to figure out how he can get the duffel bag down. There.
Eventually, he uses a tree to get up.
It's like I jumped off from that tree.
Right? So then the standoff scene starts where the two drug recovery guys, Eddie and David with Stash, show up, and Stash walks into the gazebo and looks up, and he's just like, "Guys, I hate to say it, but it's not there." And he's like, "What do you mean it's not there?" It's like, "I don't know, I put it there, it's not there." And then there's the whole standoff, David having the gun at him, and he's going to shoot him, and then Eddie kind of getting in the way.
My favorite scene in this whole movie is the standoff between...
the guy on the roof and them on the ground.
The cop and them on the ground. But more importantly, when he tells... he's like, "Drop the gun," you know? He's like, "All right," and he drops it, and then David sees
the guy's struggling.
An opportunity, so he goes to run for the gun and he gets shot.
That's the "how did you get up there" scene. He's like trying to get down. He's like, what? And he's like, oh. And I don't know about you, but if you ever played in the woods a lot as a kid, you find yourself in situations where you're like, "All right, now how do I get down from here without dying?"
Yeah.
And you have to, you usually slide on your butt or fall. And so he's up there and he's trying to figure it out. David takes the situation, goes to reach for the gun.
And the cop shoots.
And the cop shoots him and shoots off his pinky and his middle finger. And the Stash guy's like, "How did you even make that shot?"
Those aren't even next to each other.
They're not even next to each
He's
other.
Like, "How'd you lose two? He only shot once."
Yeah, he only shot once. How did you get that shot? So the two, Eddie gets on the ground, and then Stash gets on the ground, and David is underneath the gazebo, and the cop is trying to figure out where in the gazebo he is so he can like shoot at him and everything. And then while they're all doing this, the cocaine bear...
Well, he tells the two to get on the ground.
Yeah, he tells the two to get on the ground, and then the cocaine bear shows up. And it is now a very tired cocaine bear. It hasn't had any in a little bit, and it is about to just pass out, maybe die. And it starts stumbling up on them and just falls fully on top of the Eddie character, who's now squished underneath. And the kid next to him just kind of like, ooh. And it's like, is it dead? We don't know if it's dead. All right, I'm going to check the pulse. Please, can we call a truce right now?
Yeah, can we call a truce
for the bear? Call a
truce
for the bear. I'm going to check. And he goes and goes to check like the pulse, and it's like it's still breathing. Or he goes, he's still breathing. And then underneath it all, Eddie goes, "She, what? It's a she. How do you know? Her vagina is on my shoulder."
Yep.
And then through the wonderful love of cocaine, the bear awakens to the smell of cocaine.
Yep.
And the dude is still on the roof, right?
Still on the roof. He never leaves the roof.
He never leaves the roof. You're right.
He never leaves the roof. He never resolves any of that.
Oh yeah, you definitely got to Google this movie.
Yeah, definitely check it out.
Bear.
Cocaine Bear.
So his fingers are shot. David's fingers are shot off. Stash is still on the ground, and then the bear gets up off of him, and the guy throws the duffel.
Yep.
And the bear goes running, gets the duffel, and goes running off. And they're basically at this moment where they're just like, "All right, what are we gonna do?" Like, "All right, I've got a gun.
Standoff.
I've got a gun at you. You've got a gun at me." And then all of a sudden, you hear a shot go off, and the cop is shot and falls down. And this is where Sid reappears,
Yep.
and Sid has sniper shot the cop.
Yep.
Ray Liotta
with a great hairpiece. That hair is amazing for him. Him with long blonde hair is something. He had it was almost Patrick Swayze hair. He looked crazy. He looked crazy like Swayze.
The one thing that every time he kept popping up, the one thing I heard in my right ear was, "Oh, you can tell you're sick." I mean, that's Fasano was going on.
Oh, you can tell he's sick. You can tell he's sick.
Yeah, and it's just like, okay, all right, let me enjoy it.
Or he's just a 60-something-year-old man that doesn't look like he did in Goodfellas anymore.
Yes.
But he definitely he takes out the cop, and the cop's laying there dying, and then no, right before the cop gets shot, or as the cop gets shot, his partner, the girl, shows up. And,
that's right, because she's there, and
then she's got the gun pointing, and then it's that classic turn where it's like, sorry, nope, I'm on their team, and it's the what about my dog moment.
Yeah, they had that whole thing. Oh, she's good.
She's good.
She's good.
She's good. You take good care of her. The emotional, the heartstrings that pull throughout this movie. Screw what Ebert says. They make the movie what it is. Truly.
Well, that's where I was saying. I feel like that's where Elizabeth Banks came out.
Oh
in that style of comedy,
she injected actual emotion into the characters.
Yeah, and
let them play with it.
Yes,
it seems
very much so.
And in one interview, she was saying how Ray Liotta didn't ever say no to anything she asked him to do, which is the consummate professional. She had worked with him once before. And that she was like, I just said the craziest things that we could think of having him do, and everybody was just game. Everybody was down to play. And if it had been any other director, it probably wouldn't have been taken as seriously by the actors. But that, again, it was Lord and Miller with Elizabeth Banks. It definitely adds all of that heart.
Right.
Because as you had pointed out before we went live, they are also behind Spider-Verse. And,
yes.
they
know what they're doing.
Know what they're doing.
A lot of the
characters.
movies of recent time.
Is it two people?
Philip Lord and Christopher Miller, but they operate as a unit as Lord and Miller.
And they do different things.
Lorden
Sometimes
would
it's
be
just
a funny name.
Yeah.
Lord and Miller.
Lord and Miller.
The land of Lord.
No, Spider-Verse, the second one that's coming out, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs is one of their biggest things. They were behind Clone High. That was their first thing on MTV.
If you remember that, that was...
Clone High has the honor of being canceled for Punk'd. That was what it was canceled for the time slot for
that's
Punk'd.
right. You're right.
But either way... What? It is. It is. It was probably the biggest show on MTV until
to take that
Jersey
time
Shore.
Slot? Sure, yeah.
Well, I'm saying at that time it was Punk'd and Jackass. It was literally that's what MTV was. And
I was never really into punk.
It was entertaining.
Some episodes
it wasn't as good as Clone High, I'll tell you that much.
True.
So these guys, that's where you're getting a lot of the heart from. But then we get this wonderful interaction between Ray Liotta and his son, Eddie, where it's the, you're supposed to be watching my kid. Yeah. And what does he say? He goes, I left the TV on.
Louis. Oh, yeah.
I left the TV on.
He's got the TV on.
And it's just basically, you're a terrible father. It's like, well, I'm a terrible father. You left my son in St. Louis? Yeah. And he's just kind of the TV. He's watching the TV.
He's like, you know who I am? He's like, I'm not a babysitter.
Yeah, I'm not a babysitter. So then they are now on a gung-ho mission to collect the rest of the cocaine. Yep. Ray Liotta is in charge. He is pushing them to, fulfill what he wants.
David at this point is pretty hurt.
David has his hand wrapped in his jersey. Eddie's got his fingers in his pocket. And his ring.
Oh yeah,
that
was a great scene too with the cop. Can I grab his fingers?
Grab his fingers. All right, let's do it and just put it in my pocket. Yeah. And then somewhere around there, you switch off to the Kerry Russell and the little boy showing up and getting to the cave and walking in and
running into the hiker.
Right.
You
so
think
the hiker
returns.
returns.
You think Olaf is
so
dead.
All of a sudden he is there. And he knows about the cocaine bear. Obviously, he's been hiding. He's weeping. He's been there for who knows how long. And then he shows them the cave. Right? Yeah. He brings them to the cave.
They use Frosted Flakes.
Yeah, he grabs one at the end.
Yeah. And then he's got food. And so they go into the cave, and then they find the little girl is there, but there is also the two bear cubs, and they are covered in cocaine.
Before they go in, he's like, "I'm not going in there. It's dark."
Yeah.
And then they leave, and then I think right after he's like, "Wait, what about me?"
Yeah, what about me? And then so then they're into the cave, and then you get
which the Cubs it was like
they're
as far
friendly.
As cute,
and
like,
the kid, the girl in there, she's like, it's all right, they're
playing.
friendly, like it's all right, they're fine.
Yeah.
And then they realize they're on the backside of the waterfall and all of that. And then so they go in there, and then the hiker gets killed, right?
Yeah, he ends up dying.
He winds up in the cave?
No, outside
the cave. So
the bear was coming back.
The bear comes back.
Ray Liotta and the gang come across the hiker.
Yeah, yep. so he comes across them, and then, which
the best part about the bad guys getting to the cave is there's at least 2 I remember, but I bet you there's more. Duffel bags in the trees.
Yes,
that they
where they had a
shot
on
they
the
just
side.
keep
They
walking.
They just
right
completely walk by
Yep.
other duffel bags in the trees.
And he establishes that each duffel bag is $14 million worth of cocaine. So, like, you think you'd be a head on a swivel, let's look everywhere. They're in a
But they walk by at least 2, if not 3 of them. It's so cool.
It's like Easter eggs throughout the movie. So this is where I get fuzzy, because I think I was just laughing too hard at this point. But they get to the cave. Ray Liotta and co.
The mother notices, so kind of tucks.
Yeah.
No, before that, the woman cop walks away.
Tries to walk away.
Tries to walk away. Ray Liotta puts the gun on her, but David stands in front and won't let him kill her.
Yeah.
Which
I thought he was going to shoot both of them at that point.
But he doesn't.
So wait, so what happens then after he doesn't kill them?
Then they go over and finds
and then
the bag.
3 of them find the bag, and then they come around the back, and that's when Kerry Russell and the kids finally meet.
And they try to tuck, and then he's got the gun on them, and then it's just like,
and there's one bag up.
There's one bag hanging from a branch.
And he's like, just let him go.
Yeah, just let him go. They've got they're kids. Just let him go. Just let him go. It's not worth it. All that stuff. Yep. And then the scene escalates to the cocaine bear.
Well, so the Cubs are there.
The Cubs are there. Yeah. The Cubs are.
And that's the saddest thing when he kicks the Cubs.
I made a note. It's literally the only thing in the movie where I went, oh, because when he kicks. So he's trying to get the cocaine off of like this thing, and he's trying to like reach up and grab it. It's just out of reach, and
Eddie can't get David up, and David cannot lift them up.
Yeah.
And I think at this point, did she jump with the kids?
It's right at about the same time. So the bear, they don't jump until the bear is there.
That's right.
So he's trying to get it, and then he kicks the baby bear, the cub, and then all of a sudden in that moment you go, "Oh, mom is going pissed." And the sound effects and everything for that cub getting kicked was literally.
Especially because now in the movie it's nighttime. They're in this like.
A
waterfall.
And they've just been playing.
Area.
And they're just playing. They're not doing anything. They're just baby cubs.
The tone of it when Mom shows up is just so cool.
Oh, yeah. So then she comes from above, right?
Yeah, she's up top. She literally walks down like rock.
Walk down the rock. And then this is where they decide that they have to jump. So Kerry Russell and the 2 kids jump. And then this gives Eddie and David the idea that they should jump
too.
And he's trying to save his father. Eddie is like trying to convince his dad like it's not worth it. And his dad the whole time and throughout the whole movie is like, they're going to come after me, and then they're going to come after you, and they're going to come after your son, and blah, 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 blah. Like, they're going to find you. And he won't let the cocaine go. Right. And then so the 2 of them then jump.
Right.
And he
shoots the bear.
He shoots the bear.
And the bear drops.
The bear drops and then just decimates him.
No,
right?
The bear drops onto a ledge.
At this point, it's
and we
like
think the
dead.
bear's dead.
Oh.
And then Sid finally...
Because he like shoots it, basically, almost like through the heart.
Yeah. And then
Sid is able finally to pull the bag down.
Yeah.
And when he pulls the bag down, one of the bricks tumble out.
Yeah.
And explode
and there's that scene where it like...
Just like a cloud of smoke.
A cloud of...
And then it's like the close-up on the bear's nose. It's just like... And the fucking mama wakes back up.
And then
climbs up the fucking rock face. And
because it's below him. Yeah. Okay.
Destroys him and drops him just like everybody
rips
else.
Rips him apart. And goodbye, Ray Liotta.
Cuts his guts open.
That is a good shot.
The Cubs are pulling his intestines out while he's still alive.
Playing with him while he's alive, and then he goes down.
And then, because she just wants the rest of the bag.
She just wants the cocaine in her cubs. It's literally, it's a story of a mother and her love of drugs and her children. Like, it's the tale as old as time, guys. So from there, I mean, the movie's pretty much over at that point.
So they all survive. They come up down the...
Oh, everybody that jumped in.
Everybody that jumped survives.
Carrie Russell, in an act of kindness, helps David.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because he got shot when... we forgot about that. He got shot in the neck when he was trying to shoot the bear.
Okay, all right.
He got grazed in the neck. She patches him up, and they all...
Yeah, they walk off, and then this is where you get the wonderful resolution of the friendship between David and Eddie, where he's like, I didn't mean all those things I said. You are my friend.
Yeah.
So they patch up their thing. Carrie Russell...
no, before that,
the dog.
The dogs gets handed over to Eddie from the partner.
Oh, yes.
And then...
the police officer gives Eddie the dog, and David is like, whose dog is that? He's like, I think it's my dog.
Now. Yeah.
And then they're like, all right, so I don't remember the name of his kid.
Yo.
Oh, we'll go get the kid, and we'll be out.
Yeah.
And they're both like, yes, that's our plan.
Yeah. And then... off they go.
They go off.
That's the last you see of them. And the cop leaves.
And then the rest of them are walking away down the path to where the park ranger now lies.
Yeah.
And she's like, don't look at it. It's like, all right, but I sort of want to look at it.
Yeah, and then, because they're driving. The last shot of the movie is them walking down the road where the accident happened with the ambulance.
And
the
park
police
ranger's
face,
up.
And the police are just driving right by them.
Don't even care. Don't even ask questions.
Don't care at all. But it is, so I mean, that's where the movie ends. There's a couple of things
what was
in the
mid-credit
scene. There are two,
there's
apparently.
Two.
Yeah,
we only saw the one.
No. The one is there's other hikers.
Okay, yeah.
The one it's like in the future there's other hikers looking at a bear with two cubs. Right. Oh, look at the bear.
Yeah.
And then all of them
the bears all look at the camera with this crazed look in their eyes.
Yeah.
And then the after credit scene is Stash.
Oh, I don't
go.
With the goat?
So Stash is standing on the side of the highway with the sign that says California on it. And his thumb out.
And then the guy picks him up with all the goats. He takes the duffel bag.
He's got a duffel bag.
He puts it in the back of the truck, gets in the car, and then goes, wait. Gets out, looks at the goats, takes the bag and goes back into the truck.
Yes.
And then they drive off.
That's right.
The movie, I mean, obviously, we all loved this movie. It was so fun. It is, again, to reiterate what we said multiple times, the movie is exactly what you are expecting to get. It is nothing less. But
even though that we went over with a lot of this movie, if you have not seen them, still watch the movie.
We are missing so many points here.
Well, I think a big thing, and I'm sure this was the Elizabeth Banks touch of it. It's really about a bunch of people who are not necessarily doing the best.
Yeah.
Who are trying to protect what they got.
They're trying to protect their family.
So Carrie Russell is obviously seeing the doctor, and there's some friction between her and the kid about it, but she's just trying to do the best for her kid.
Yeah, she's trying to be there for her
kid. Eddie is...
He's going through a hard time.
And Eddie's reformed from being away from what his father does, what he's been doing.
And
once his wife died, I'm assuming that his wife worked for them.
Yeah.
Well, they say his wife died of cancer.
Yeah. So it could have been... Yeah, it was probably tied in to the family business.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what gives her cancer, but she dies from cancer.
And even Sid, in those times where he's like, you don't understand, if we don't get all this cocaine back, they're going to come after you.
Yeah.
And so, like, even though, while he's like a selfish drug dealer, at his heart,
he was in trouble and his family was in trouble.
Sid had to try and recover all of that
to save his kid and his grandson. And
David, which the irony,
David is dedicated, a company man working for Sid, who is like a father to him. Is probably pulls
and
him
Eddie's
out
like
of
a best friend to him.
And if you
And
look
then
at Sid
obviously
when
the
you
mama bear.
the mama bear.
yes, and if you look at Sid, the irony is Sid probably was happy bringing the grandson to the mall.
Yeah.
Just eating and not worrying about anything stressful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like it was, a little bit of a respite from his crazy life, but also when you're in that deep, a little bit of a respite starts making you go like, okay, this is starting to weird me out. I'm not meant for this stuff.
Yeah, so
like,
everyone
I've
in the
seen
movie
things.
has their sort of bad tendencies. Some, some doing drugs, some just making out with doctors.
Smoking cigarettes.
Very, very different, different levels of badness. But everyone had something bad that they were using as an excuse to try and protect the thing that was good.
Yeah. They all had their heart that they were trying to preserve, whatever that is.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. That is the Elizabeth Banks of it all. That is definitely could have been missed if it was just a Sci-Fi Channel movie 12, 13 years ago.
Sure.
They would have missed that, and I think that's why the movie was that good.
Oh yeah.
Well,
because there was a heart to it.
Yeah.
There was
there
another
is.
No
great
matter
thing
what
about.
Fatso says.
Yeah.
Not you, Ebert.
Yeah, thanks. Either way.
I pointed that. I meant to point at your phone.
The one.
I didn't mean that. I meant
Well, I'm gonna go reenact the whale in real life, guys.
He's the fat one, right?
Yes.
Ebert, Siskel's
Siskel.
dead.
Siskel's dead.
Ebert's the fat one
Ebert
with
are
the
the fat
beady
ones.
eyes.
What I did say right after the movie was I loved how the moments you thought the bear was going to show up, the bear did not show up. If it was a sci-fi movie, the bear would have killed 400 more people. It would have been Jaws.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, looking back at this movie, there isn't anything that I would want them to change. I don't have any notes for it as far as this is how you could have done it better. I don't think there's too much heart. I don't think there's too little heart. I don't think there's too much gore. I think it's perfectly balanced across the board. The one thing that we did not mention, and as musicians, we always fail to mention these things, is the music.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the music of this film was made by
Mark Mothersbaugh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who is the lead singer and brilliant mind behind Devo.
Yes. Also Rugrats.
And, he did the Rugrats theme. He did a bunch of other stuff. And
21 did a
lot of Lord and Miller.
Yep.
What we always seem to come back to is a really good soundtrack plays along with the movie so well you don't notice it.
Yeah, you don't really notice it.
It adds to it, and if it was gone, you would notice. But it's perfectly balanced. The movie across the board is just very well done.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't have any notes for it. What I do have is requests for more. Like I said before, Cocaine Koalas, down under version, and then we could go to Cocaine Panda and get it going in China over there. And I said the joke of I thought pandas had black spots on them too, and it's just the panda then cocaine polar bear.
Here's the question: does that mean that you're gonna you just want more of that style, or strictly
I want
Elizabeth
them to make
Banks
7 more cocaine animal movies.
Well, because here's the thing: the moment that you start adding more numbers to it, that's when you start getting B-movie horror guys doing.
Here's what my pitch is for Cocaine Koalas, all right?
Yeah.
Cocaine Koalas starts off with Eddie, David, and the son moving to Australia to get as far away as they can
Go to the country
from
where
the
anything,
cartel.
Oh, well, I guess that makes
right?
sense, yeah.
And they go and they live in the rural...
The bush.
The bush. And they are out there and they get found by an old comrade of some sorts from the game who is smuggling a bunch of cocaine into Australia and needs their help. And they're like, nope,
They have to cross the outback?
Yeah, they have to go across the outback. And somehow they get stuck with all of the cocaine. They're holding it. And they're like, listen, we're not doing anything. We're just going to let you leave it here. But then the koalas get into it. And then all of a sudden, an army of coked up koalas take on the city. And it's just a bunch of coke. The bush fights back, it's going to be...
How fast do koalas get?
How fast? Yeah. I don't know, but triple their speed at least.
Joey says also get him a roll for it.
Yeah, for Joey? Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Dude, we're all going to be fucking coked up koalas.
He says write it up and send it to Elizabeth Banks.
I think it'd be a great turn on it. And then after that, you just start going, okay, just go around the world. Cocaine Russian bear, that's an easy one right there.
Polar bear?
Oh, wait, they already made it. It's called The Machine.
Polar bear?
Yeah, polar bear for sure.
That would be a really scary one.
Yeah,
that would be like...
Polar bears don't need cocaine to want to eat people.
No.
Polar bears eat people for
That's
fun.
the finale. Yeah. That's the last one.
Yeah.
Cocaine
Dude, it becomes
bear.
like Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. We build this up till it's a planet full of just
humans are
bears.
enslaved.
Yeah.
Processing cocaine for our animal overlords.
Exactly.
Because it's giving them intelligence.
I think it's.
Turns out if animals do enough cocaine, they get as smart as people.
And then, I mean, we haven't even touched brown bears, though. You can do the West Coast version of it. The grizzlies. And then really it'd be like, this winter, there is no hibernating. Like you just throw it in. I think this
Do we
series...
get away from bears, though?
What?
Do we do like cocaine gerbils?
No. Because that's where you switch drug. Meth gator was offered up before. I think we go with that. So all reptiles.
Weed sloth. How much slower can you get?
How slow can you go? How slow can you go? But yeah, you give all reptiles meth. So
that would just be
meth chameleon. I don't know what it's gonna do. It's
ecstasy horse.
Yeah,
it just wants to love you.
Yeah. Ride me. But it's stupid. It's silly. It's goofy. It's amazing. This movie, I cannot recommend it enough. It's fun for the whole family, in my opinion.
I don't see a problem with it.
There are human kids and bear kids that
both doing cocaine.
They all love cocaine.
Actually, funny story. So my buddy Rob hit me up and said, "Hey, I went and saw Cocaine Bear with my 14-year-old today," and I was like, "Oh, we went and saw it today too."
Wait, who did this?
My buddy Rob.
Oh, but we brought our 32-year-old son.
Yeah, we brought our 32-year-old son, Anthony. No, this is real. This is a real story. I swear to you, it's a real story. It's a real story. I believe it. I did research. I'm not going to tell you what kind of research I did, but I did research. Brooklyn. So I think we got to give it a rating.
Molly Marsupials.
We got Molly Marsupials. Yeah. Oh my God.
Hey, get in my pouch, bro.
I love carrying you around.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude, my fur feels good to you as it feels to me.
Dude, stroke the furry wall.
I didn't ever know
Favorite
that
scene
music
to get me
had
to agree.
flavors, man.
Did you feel this wall?
Oh,
this
Lord.
wall feels amazing.
And then we go to gerbils, and that'll be acid gerbils.
Acid gerbils.
Ass in gerbils. Sorry.
Acid gerbils.
I always fuck
Richard
up
Gere.
Richard Gere.
Oh, yeah.
Is that real? Did Richard Gere put gerbils in his ass?
We don't know. But no.
Richard...
Maybe, but probably not. He's a good Buddhist. He's not a bad one, He's not a bad one like Steven Seagal.
He's a Buddhist.
He's a
they put
Buddhist,
anything up there.
Buddhist.
All right, guys. 0 to 100. This is how we rank movies and beer and life. 0 to 100. Just so you know, if you haven't watched in the past, 50 and below is a fail for us.
Yeah, don't watch it.
50 and above is a pass. 50 to like 60, 65 is would watch again, but wouldn't like own it. 65 to 80 is like getting better. I'd probably own it, but I would definitely watch it again. 80 and up is you're going to get it, on DVD, Blu-ray, whatever. You might own a poster of it on your wall. Right. You're going to proselytize this to everybody that you know. And 90 on up is you're getting a cocaine bear tattoo on your pee hole. You're doing something crazy. You love this movie. So 0 to 100 is what we do. So I'll kick it off. 0 to 100. This movie, again, I loved it. It was great. It was amazing. But it is what it is.
Yes.
And I'm ranking it as what it is. I'm giving this a 79. It is almost to the point where...
Almost a buy.
I would own this movie. I would own this movie on multiple platforms. I would buy the soundtrack for this movie on vinyl. Sure. I was not even remembering what it sounds like. I will be quoting this movie for years.
God. We're all
Any
going
Sunday
to
afternoon, I'm hanging out with somebody. I'm going to be like, exactly, it is like Step Brothers in that way. I want to do cocaine on Sundays after church. It's going to be in my language for the rest of my life. Those will be my last freaking words. Hello.
What's up, Brandon?
So that's where I'm at. 79. Justin, what are you giving this guy?
I'm in very close to the same ballpark as you. I'm going with a 77 on this.
77. Nice. Zach, where are you going? 0 to 100.
I was going like 68.
68? All right.
It's good.
Yeah, it's good.
It's good. You know what you're getting.
Exactly.
Watch the movie.
I'll watch it
Go
again,
watch
sure,
the
but
movie.
I'm not
Yeah.
probably not going to purchase it.
No. Okay, you won't purchase it. I would.
But if I walked into your house and you were like, it was the middle of the movie, you'd be like, oh, watch Cocaine Bear. I'm like, all right. Oh, I love this
you
part,
don't need to start it over. You just watch it from where it's at.
Yeah.
You know, like this.
It is like Step Brothers.
Yeah.
In that sense.
You
It's
could
like
just pick
Step
it up.
Brothers, like Christmas Story. You can.
I saw
literally
one
watch
review
it
that was
at
like,
any
it's
moment.
Snakes on a Plane meets Wet Hot American Summer meets Blow. And I think the Wet Hot American Summer thing is only because of Elizabeth Banks, because she's in that movie. And the kind of like absurd humor and everything. But it's fun, guys. If you have not checked it out, check it out.
I liked that. The
We're
only thing
doing
I was
good, baby.
worried about was that they were going to glamorize
Cocaine.
usage.
Yeah.
You know, the way that, like, we had all those weed comedies where they made it cool to smoke weed.
Yeah.
And people are going to watch this like, it's cool to do cocaine.
Well, and most cocaine movies end, like Blow and Goodfellas specifically, and pretty much any other movie, Scarface, they all pretty much end with the lesson of, don't.
Is this
bad.
the
It's
first
bad.
comedy based on cocaine?
No, there's definitely been, like, there are movies that, I don't know if it's based on it. Like, I mean, Wolf of Wall Street is all about cocaine,
I understand.
and it's hilarious.
There's a lot of drugs.
There's a lot of
I
drug
agree.
Wolf of Wall Street makes you want to do drugs.
Yeah. I mean, the opening of it is like him, like, and he's like, it's all about, this is my favorite drug. And then he pulls the dollar bill and it's like, the $100 bill, money.
Yeah.
So I would say that this movie is probably the only straight up comedy
Well,
that
that's
I
what I'm
know that is
saying.
based specifically on this. Most of the other ones are weed, you
Well,
know,
it's
like
very
How
serious
High, and any of those. But it's also like the only cocaine horror movie I can think of, and the only action movie that,
actually, I don't know if
I don't
that's
know,
a
but
true
just
thing.
off the top of my head, there's action movies based on cocaine galore.
Sure.
But it is definitely the only like straight up comedy mixed with horror that is based on cocaine. Ooh, you're gonna get on some weird Scared Straight, 5 horror movies based on true stories. Yeah. No, it's just gonna.
No,
yeah.
I guess
Yeah,
you're right. It pretty much
it.
is, yeah.
But yeah, again, highly recommend checking this out. Now, usually
Do go to the theater and watch it.
go to the theater and see it. Usually at this point in the show is where we talk about trailers and we go over trailers, but we're just about almost at the 2 hour
Nothing good
mark.
came out this week.
Nothing really great came out.
I will. How about this?
Let's recommend some trailers for you guys to check out.
Well, there's that, but also talking about it, I'm excited to see D&D. The more that we see
Yep.
trailers and stuff, I'm
And
going to see that in theaters.
We're gonna let you guys know that D&D comes out at the end of this month, March 31st. So go check it out, which means in a month from this week, not next show, but the show after that, we are going to be covering Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves.
Yes.
So I'm really stoked to watch that and to do a deep dive on that.
Also, John Wick.
But John Wick 4 is 98% going to be the movie that we cover next.
Right.
Which means for me, I have to watch 3 John Wick movies and then a 4th John Wick movie.
It's such a shame to be getting introduced to those movies, man. I hate to be you. I
hate to be me. You know what? I'll tell you. I hate to be me. But yeah, so that's going to be the next one in 2 weeks. And we'll be covering it literally like the week after it comes out.
The trailer I recommend?
Yep.
Glorious. Watch that trailer.
All right.
The movie is already out. I still have not watched it. It's the truck stop bathroom.
Oh yes, the God in the truck stop bathroom.
The God in the truck stop
played
bathroom.
by J.K. Simmons.
Yes.
And, that movie.
And I forget his name, but he was the main actor in Dead Silence, the puppet movie, and he was also Jason Stackhouse in True Blood. I forget his name.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah, I didn't watch True Blood, so I'm not. I didn't watch that.
I mean, Dead Silence is a great movie.
Yeah.
You should watch that.
My recommendation is go check out every single movie right now that's coming out about inventing something. All of the trailers.
Right.
There is, what's the name of the Nike movie? What do they call it? Like Up in the Air? No, that's a Kevin Bacon movie. There's a movie about the Air Jordan. It's called
Trailer.
Air. It's just called Air.
Air.
Air Trailer.
Air Trailer.
Air,
Now live in an Air Trailer.
Go check out the
Air
trailers
trailer
for
here.
Air. It's about it's Ben Affleck and Matt Damon telling the story about how Air Jordans came to be. Go check out the trailer for Tetris.
I know, right, Joey?
Taron Eger, whatever his name is, Taron Eggers, right?
I can't.
The guy who played in Rocket Band.
Yes.
It's about the creation of Tetris.
It looks really cool.
Jay Baruchel is starring in a movie with Glenn Howerton called BlackBerry about the invention of the BlackBerry.
It's the Facebook social media biopic.
Exactly.
Yes.
And then the last one, which I might be most excited for, is Pinball: The Man Who Saved the Game. It's about how pinball was banned in New York City until like the late 70s
You
into the 80s.
really like pinball. You just want to be cool.
I like pinball, but I don't love pinball.
I like playing pinball, but
I
I'm
like
not going
movies
out of
about
my-
things more
I'm
than I
not
like
buying
things.
pinball machines.
So go check out all those trailers. Zach, you have any trailers that you want to recommend to people?
Nah.
Don't check out any trailers
I
for
don't
Zach.
care.
We don't
I
care.
don't watch movies.
Going back to the whole social thing, did you watch the Joseph Gordon-Levitt show about Uber?
No. I saw Stuber, which I loved.
No, it's a Showtime series. I caught it when I was down in Harrisburg getting my licensing stuff done,
Okay.
and didn't watch all of it, obviously.
And it's on what
I want to say it
service?
was like Showtime,
All right.
or Stars or something like that. But
Message
it was a
me
series.
and I'll
Yeah,
try
the
and
guy
check
who
it out.
founded Uber is a crazy person.
Oh.
It's a
Awesome.
really awesome show, though.
Hell yeah.
And he plays the part. If you like Joseph Gordon-Levitt,
Oh, I love Joseph
You know what I mean?
Gordon-Levitt.
He just nails this part really well.
Okay.
The only trailers I've been watching lately are one for Diablo 4.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Even and
Diablo 4 looks amazing. You should probably
Diablo 4
play it.
looks great.
Also, found this out, weird thing. So you can play there's an early access that's coming out on it.
Okay.
You can either pre-order the game or you can buy a double down. And
Oh, yeah, Double Down,
they give
yeah.
you access
Let's
to
go
the
to
game.
KFC. I want to play Diablo, Mom.
Wait. You get a double down?
No, if you buy a double down,
You
you
get
get
early
a code
access.
to play the game
I
early.
look out the window at my job all day long and just stare at KFC going, I haven't had you in a while, but one of these days I'm getting a double down. And then I'm going to throw that access out because I don't need it. And you guys don't need it, right? So, yeah, I'm just going to
I mean, it's only good for 3 days starting tomorrow.
The double
so-
down?
Yes.
I think the double down's good for a few years. I mean, if you buy it and keep it in a Ziploc bag, it'll never go bad.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well,
Glass shell.
I think it's time that we wrap up this evening show.
Wrap up this big old brick of
And
cocaine, bear.
Controversial maybe, but Joey says Joseph Gordon-Levitt was the best Robin ever.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, if he was Robin.
Yeah, well, his name is Robin at the end. He says it. And I'm just sad that we never got the Marlon Wayans Robin.
What's up,
'cause
Liz
that
and
was
Nan?
supposed to happen.
Marlon Wayans.
Not even joking. Marlon Wayans was paid for both the Val Kilmer and the George Clooney Batmans to not be Robin because he was signed to play it in the Tim Burton third movie, and that got
would've been
canceled.
amazing.
And the only other option they wanted was Leonardo DiCaprio.
Does Tim Burton come back and do another movie?
And
No.
bring Marlon as old, maybe after Michael Keaton.
After Keaton's back,
Maybe things to food,
I want
food for thought.
I want all the Wayans brothers.
I want a Wayans
leave
brother
a comment in the bottom of this
only
video
DC.
if you think that
It's just it's
we're
David
gonna get
Wayans,
another...
David Wayans Jr., Keenan
They're
Ivory,
they're
Marlon
the,
Shaw.
They're all the Justice League.
Yeah,
but
they're
it's
all the
the
Justice
Wayans
League.
brothers.
I think
But one
Marlon
has to be Blank Man.
Well, no. Marlon or Sean have to be Wonder Woman in their white chicks get up though.
Yes.
I think that's the best way to
But
do
one
it.
of them did play Blank Man, which was a superhero.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's Keenan,
That's
right?
Keenan, yeah,
today. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you so
Leave
much for
comments if you
tuning
think that any of
in.
that's going to happen.
Let us know if you
Leave
like
a
the
comment
idea
if
of
you're
an
old
all
enough to have
Wayne's
seen
DC
Blank Man.
show. Blank Man was fantastic.
Joey saw it, so we're
he
good,
said it's
yes.
fantastic.
Joe's as old as we are.
You know what's better? Controversial opinion.
Not as old as Justin.
Meteor Man, better than Blank Man. Go check it
Hebrew
out.
Hammer, better than them all.
Oh, Hebrew Hammer, Adam Goldberg
Hammer,
is
yeah.
amazing.
That's
All
a
right,
funny
guys.
movie.
Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you hit subscribe. Click that bell so you are notified whenever we go live. Binge Rampage is just about to hit 400,000 subscribers, so please,
Wow.
if
Yeah.
you enjoyed this,
Wow.
share videos,
Yes.
share
Like
the
it.
link, like it, make comments,
slam
let
that like
everybody
button
know
like it owes you
we
money.
exist.
We will be live 2 weeks.
2 weeks from today, which is going to be, I believe, the 29th. So the 29th of March, we'll be here talking about John Wick 4, and I'll be talking about all 4 of the John Wicks.
Yes.
I'm getting a tattoo that morning.
As always, big thanks to everybody in the chat for being here live. Thank you to
Yes.
everybody for watching in the future. Big ups to Mr. Rampage for letting us be here and do our silliness.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. R, for Binge Report and Binge Rampage. I'm Kyle Mocha. That's Justin Olimpado.
Yes, sir.
And he's been Mr. Zachary Storman. We'll see you in 2 weeks, guys. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.